Remember we had that problem with the MDI children and sizing windows? In this video we're going to correct that issue. I'll see you in a few moments after this disclaimer. Hi, you're listening to Martin, and this is another video in which I'm looking at getting started with OpenInsight 10. And to illustrate the issue that we're going to address today, if we run the MDI form and we launch these two windows that we've been working on, they look fine on the screen. However, we're still allowing our user to resize these windows because they are being run as MDI children. And this big blue blank area looks just plain wrong. Now this form is going to be fairly easy to fix. We'll come to that in a minute. But we need to do a little bit more with the patient record one, because we've got the Maximise button. If you click that, we wind up with the same issue, this massive area of nothingness, and again it just looks wrong, and we want to stop our users from being able to do that. So let's just have a look and see how we can address some of these issues. We'll start with the MP system codes. Now the easiest thing to do, if you've got things like edit tables, if you've got edit boxes, controls like that on your form, then you can very easily select the control and change the auto size width and the auto size height, so that when we now run that, so I'm going to do a save and close. If we now run the MDI form and we launch that window, it looks fine in that configuration. And then if we maximize it, we find that the table fills the whole of the screen. And okay, my table's limited to 24 rows at the moment, but once we've filled this up with data, then that will fill down. And obviously if we then only have a small amount of data, then it just shows those lines. But you get the idea. The screen doesn't look too bad, although the description is very, very wide, so this isn't a very good example. You can see that that looks a lot better than just having that huge area of blue, which just looked wrong. So let's just close down here. And if we launch the patient's form that we've been working with, let's fix that up. Now somebody said to me the other day, why don't you use the tracking size? So if I set the tracking size to be the same sizes as the window, now I don't know if I'm doing this right, I might be misunderstanding this, but this is what somebody said to me. So if I'm going to set all of these to be the same width and height, so theoretically it won't allow the window to go less than the size it was that it was designed, or bigger. So if we go OK that, and we'll save that, and if we now test run the MDI frame and open up the patient's form, our button is still enabled, and if we maximize it, it now won't actually display maximized. It will display the right size, but it looks like it's actually displaying underneath the toolbar here and maybe slightly off to the left. So it's, and you can't drag it across or anything, so it's still slightly wrong from my mind. So I'm not going to go with that option. What we're going to do is to remove the tracking size, and I'm going to cheat a little bit, because in code on the create event I'm going to add a script. Now we'll just put in some help text here. So set the Maximise button to be disabled so that the window cannot be opened bigger than the size that we want. I can just do a return in there. Now I can't see that we're ever going to want to run that window bigger than it's designed, so that should be absolutely fine. And the code is to call set property, and we want to we want at window, and the control that we're going to be playing with is the Maximise button. I'm going to be careful because it's American spelling and not English, and I keep getting it wrong. And we want to set the enabled property to 0, and we can just return 1. So if we now compile that, the code compiles, so we'll save and close. Now this is another little anomaly that you need to be aware of. If we just jump to our MDI main form and test run that, you're going to find that the form still behaves exactly the same as it did just a moment ago. The reason for that is that we haven't recompiled our form. So we've compiled and saved the code, but we haven't actually told the form to use that code. So if we do a save here, it recompiles everything, and then if we test run the form, now when we go to patients, we find that the Maximise button is disabled. Because we've fixed our window, the user cannot resize it at all. We can still move it around, we can minimize it, we can make it larger, and we've got full control over that window. The users cannot get it bigger than we wanted, and our application looks good. I'm pleased. Not a lot of code, a nice little solution. Anyway, that's this video. I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.